Imagine this. The endless orange dunes of the Negev Desert race by below at 500 knots while heat haze crackles in the air. Suddenly, there's a catastrophic crash. Metal screams like 1,000 knives scraping steel. A massive fireball erupts, blinding orange and billowing black smoke that chokes the entire sky. Your F-15 Eagle flips violently, caught in a merciless death spin, with G-forces slamming you into the seat and your vision graying at the edges as your stomach lurches in free-fall terror. Alarms shriek without mercy. Collision! Eject! Eject! The world blurs into a nightmarish carousel of sand and sky. One pilot's heart pounds at 200 beats per minute, facing odds of survival that seem utterly zero. Or do they? Hang on tight. This is the story that defied the laws of physics itself.
To truly appreciate this, let's step back and meet the F-15 Eagle, the undisputed god of the skies. Born in the intense pressure cooker of the Cold War, it first flew in 1972 under McDonnell Douglas. This jet was engineered for total domination, boasting 104 air-to-air victories and 0 combat losses, a perfect record from the Bekaa Valley bloodbath to the sands of Desert Storm, where it shredded MiGs like tissue paper. What makes it legendary? Sheer, overwhelming power. 2 Pratt & Whitney F-100 engines delivering a combined 50,000 pounds of thrust in afterburner, a top speed of Mach 2.5 that's faster than a rifle bullet, and a climb rate of 50,000 feet per minute. Its wings slice through the air like scalpels, and fly-by-wire systems let it dance with impossible precision. Now, fast forward to June 1983 at an Israeli Air Force base deep in the blistering Negev Desert, Israel's vast, unforgiving proving ground where triple-digit heat bakes the runways. Captain Zivi Nedivi, a 32-year-old skilled pilot and trainee under evaluation, straps in with over 1,000 hours in the Eagle. In the rear seat sits his instructor, Lieutenant Colonel Zohar Zusman, a battle-hardened veteran overseeing the flight. Their adversary is a nimble A-4 Skyhawk, the Vietnam-era Navy workhorse piloted by another trainee. It's a standard 2 versus 1 mock dogfight exercise. Radios crackle with tense call signs as the sun glints off their canopies. Just another routine drill in the desert skies until overconfidence collides with cruel fate.
The jets lock into the merge, weaving through the crystal blue sky at 20,000 feet. Nedivi rolls his Eagle inverted for the attack, but the Skyhawk pulls an impossibly tight turn. Too tight. "Brake left!" Nedivi calls urgently into the radio, yet there's no time to react. The A-4's left wing clips the F-15's right wing mid-maneuver, striking with the force of a bomb. Aluminum shreds apart in a guttural, ear-splitting rip, and ruptured fuel lines spew JP-8 that ignites instantly in a roaring inferno of 2,000-degree flames licking hungrily at the fuselage. Black, acrid smoke billows out, seeping through every seal and choking the cockpit air. The Skyhawk cartwheels away wildly, its pilot ejecting safely into the desert below. But for Nedivi's Eagle, it's pure catastrophe. The entire right wing is torn off at the root. A full 20 feet of critical lift vanished in seconds. The jet immediately enters a vicious flat spin at 60 degrees per second, yawing uncontrollably like a child's top gone mad. Altitude bleeds away rapidly from 30,000 feet toward 25,000, and the cockpit becomes absolute hell as Nedivi battles crushing 6G forces that make his arms feel like lead and pool his blood painfully in his feet. Instruments whirl in chaos, airspeed needles swing erratically, yaw rates peg the gauges. Zusman shouts from the rear seat over the deafening roar, "Eject! Punch out right now! It's over!" Nedivi's mind races through flashing images of his wife and kids back home, while the jagged Negev sand mountains loom ever closer, ready to claim them both. The spin tightens relentlessly, and desert death rushes up to meet them. Should he eject, or stake everything on a desperate gamble? In that heart-stopping moment, Nedivi makes his fateful choice. He refuses to eject. No, not today, he growls through gritted teeth as adrenaline sharpens his focus to a razor's edge. He slams both throttles forward to military power and then full afterburner, unleashing a thunderous whoosh as 50,000 pounds of thrust explode from the tailpipes to battle the relentless spin. Physics screams that this is impossible. Without the right wing, asymmetric lift should send them plummeting into an unrecoverable stall. Yet Nedivi anticipates perfectly, slamming the rudder hard right while holding full left aileron on the stick. Here's the genius. The F-15's blunt fuselage, area-ruled for supersonic efficiency, transforms into an impromptu lifting body, generating nearly 40% of its normal lift from the belly and leading-edge strakes alone. The afterburner's massive yaw force counters the deadly torque, and subtle thrust vectoring from the nozzles stabilizes the pitch attitude. Gradually, the spin slows from a dizzying 60 degrees per second down to a manageable 20, and the nose finally bites into the airflow to level out. They hold altitude shakily at 9,000 feet, even as sweat stings Nedivi's eyes, and one engine flames out violently from severed fuel lines. He quickly cross-feeds fuel and feathers it dead, leaving only the left engine's howl filling the cockpit. Emotions surge from raw terror to unyielding resolve. Ramon Air Base lies just 10 miles ahead, a short 8,000-foot desert strip. Can this crippled beast even glide there, let alone land? Physics bends to Nedivi's will, but the suspense tightens like a noose.
Ramon Air Base swims into view, its runway shimmering like a mirage in the brutal heat. Nedivi configures carefully, gear drops with heavy clunk, flaps extend to 30 degrees despite the massive damage. His speed is insane, 260 knots, twice the normal landing velocity, and the runway blurs beneath him as he floats the threshold. Touchdown hits like a hammer. Bang! The fuselage scrapes sparks in a fiery shower. He deploys the tailhook, and it snags the arrestum cable perfectly. But at that blistering 260 knots, the sheer force rips the cable clean apart in an explosive snap, showering debris across the tarmac. The Eagle careens 5,000 feet down the overrun, brakes glowing cherry red as reverse thrust finally bites. It screeches to a halt mere inches from the encroaching sand. Eerie silence falls. Nedivi kills the engines, pops the canopy, and hot desert wind blasts in as he stumbles out on shaking legs, gulping dry air laced with fuel stench. Ground crew swarms, fire trucks wailing, medics rushing, but he waves them off and turns slowly. His jaw drops in utter disbelief. The right wing is completely gone, sheared off at the fuselage root to the tip, with dangling wires and hydraulic stumps trailing like veins. The mighty F-15 perches lopsided on its single remaining wing, a scarred, one-armed colossus defying gravity. Stunned engineers circle it, murmuring in awe. How in God's name did you do that? Nedivi stares, a wave of crashing relief and wonder washing over him. He'd flown and landed this wreck 10 miles home, aviation's greatest impossible miracle, forged in fire and steel.
The F-15's unbreakable legend only grew stronger that day, and Zivi Nedivi became an eternal hero. If this heart-pounding tale gripped you, smash that like button, subscribe for more weekly aviation epics, and hit the bell so you never miss one. Comment below, would you have punched out or fought like Nedivi? Fly high, stay safe. See you next time.